as we mentioned, no bad habits here for Team Canada tonight, and they had to make sure they're getting ready for the playoffs and doing all the little things right.
Absolutely. In deep here is Blomberg. 94. I don't think they even have a 94, do they?
Sands.
Oh, Madison Sands, excuse me. So Madison Sands picks up an assist on that one. Brian sends it in deep for Blomberg. For Pouliot. That comes back around. Danica Smith there. Jammed up Brian. Blomberg sends it here for Brittany Smith. Brittany Smith with the shot tipped in front by Blomberg. And that goes to the corner for Pouliot. Pouliot loses her check. Smith in. Saved by Afexinadu on a nice tip play there by Jenny Bryan. Bryan for Pouliot. And I apologize. I've been calling my good buddy Fanny Day Forge Pouliot. I got my 21 and my 22 mixed up. Fanny, I'm sorry. Don't get mad. In the corner again. Here's Moxley, Candace Moxley for Cockerwell. Again, over to Cockrell. Cockrell for Moxley. Desmier in front for an opportunity. And has it poked away. Here's Johnston. Johnston keeps that in. Team Canada very careful here. And here back comes Cockrell. We have 2-on-1. Desmier, Cockrell. Desmier shoots. That's blocked there. Desmier rebound off the post. Desmier hammering away there. Here's Cockrell. Cockrell sends it deep. And in there now is Pouliot, 22. Pouliot working well down low. Here's Pouliot. And she sends it back down to her zone by accident. Back to receive that. Team Canada starting again. And we should mention, Trevor, that Team Canada tonight played the classic joke on goaltender Nathalie Girard as they sent her out of the tunnel and they stayed back and let her out by herself, and they all had a good laugh about that when they joined her on the blue line.
Yeah, you and I were waiting for Team Canada to come out, and we see the goalie come out, and then no one joins her, and the fans started clapping. They all stopped. So again, kind of some hockey humor here that we see, from time to time, especially with rookies on teams. So I'm not sure of our goaltender status here, Girard's status, but certainly a little bit of hockey humor among the players, and you can see as they all entered out from the tunnel, some smiles and some chuckles as they did walk onto the floor.
Always funny. That joke never gets old. Into the corner now. Here's Larocque. Larocque to the point. In here for Johnston. Johnston. You can hear a pin drop here at the Glacier. Maybe they're trying to hear our commentary, Trev. Larocque back here for MacArthur. For Johnston. Johnston holds, waits. Back for MacArthur. Leslie MacArthur. Mallory Johnston. Shot in a block there. MacArthur. Wide for Larocque. She shoots. Rebound. No goal as Afexinadu is able to smother that one.
Now, you're talking about the building tonight being very quiet, Chris, and what a difference from last night's game. I believe that the game kind of dictates how the fans are going to be. And last night was a very physical affair. It was up and down, some great plays on both sides, so being physical, some good speed, some good skill. And tonight it just doesn't have that same feel around here. But that being said, Team Canada needs to make sure they're still playing the same energy as they would against the Czech Republic or Slovakia or any of these teams, because they are building towards something greater. And they had to make sure they stay focused here and do the little things right as this game continues and keep that intensity at a very high level.
That's a very good point, Trevor, and I completely agree with your synopsis there. Down low again, Canada dominating here in the early going. Back here for Sands. Sands holds. Fakes the shot. Over here on the left side for Coos. For Sands. Sands wires. Shoots. And that's gobbled up there by O'Grady. O'Grady shoots. That's saved by Afexinadu as well. Into the corner for Tulk. Tulk leading the tournament in scoring. Don Tulk from the sideboards. Out here for O'Grady. 10 seconds remain in the power play. O'Grady shoots. That's knocked down there nicely by Belono. Sands out here for O'Grady. O'Grady winds, fires. That's in. Nice play as Coos with a little pass for Tulk. It looks like they're staying with this Newfoundland line, Trev. Kane, Coos, Tulk on the power play. Coos shoots. Tulk picks it up. Backhand. What a huge save by Afexinadu. Oh, wow. Great save from the Greek goaltender. All fans, Canadian, Greek alike here, give her an ovation for that one. That one chipped ahead a little bit too far for Blomberg. Back in the Canadian zone. Here's Brittany Smith. Smith ahead for Tulk a little too far. Right onto the stick of Blomberg. She walks right around Nakos. Blomberg in for Fanny. Fanny shoots. And that's knocked away. And you'll notice it's not Fanny Desforges anymore. It's just Fanny. Fanny's going to be like Madonna. She's going to be like Seal. She's going to be like JWoww. All people with one name.
No, and I'm not going to respond to that, Chris, but I got to say I was very impressed last night when you did the interview with Fanny after the game. Just a very impressive individual. I thought she spoke very, very well. Certainly her background with the University of Ottawa GG's, women's hockey team has certainly prepared her for events like this. I know they have a very strong program at the University of Ottawa. So those types of experiences, playing in national championships, playing against other top college and university teams in the country, certainly will benefit players like Fanny and other members of Team Canada, because most of them have that high performance experience. So, but again, very impressed with her last night as a player, but also as an individual after as well.
Oh, Smith just misses high there, but absolutely. And speak a bit more to Fanny Desforges. I agree with you, Trevor, and I was going to bring up the same point. Very well spoken, very well put together young lady, and can't say enough about, like you said, how impressed we were with her last night as both a player, as an individual, as a spokesperson dealing with the media, answered our questions very, very professionally. So Team Canada's got a good one on their hands there. And all the people back watching Fanny in Ottawa, as she has a great chance, stopped by Afexinadu, should be very proud of her. All of her old friends from the GGs.
Here we see Afexinadu making a couple of good saves in close. She's faced 13 shots. We're just a little over halfway through the first period and seeing 13 shots. There was 2 quick goals, so good on her to rebound, make some good saves and keep her team in this game. They're being outshot 13-0 right now, but as we said before, with these, lower seeded teams, I guess, Chris, they need their goaltenders to come up big in games against Team Canada and Slovakia and these other top teams. So right now, the Greece goaltender playing well, making some key saves in close.
And Trevor, we talked about it, and you make a great point there. In the last couple of days, we've seen Johnston from Great Britain. We've seen Afexinadu. We've seen nice save there. We've seen Adele King from the U.S. barraged over and over and over. And if nothing else, these goaltenders are getting a great experience, and they're making a name for themselves. Unfortunately, it's because all the action is directed at them, as we see another goal about to happen. That's sent wide by Moxley. Desmere back on the ball. But it's good for these goalies and their development to be facing these kind of shooters.
No, absolutely. As for their players, it's important to face these top forwards and top Ds so they get a feel for the pressure they receive when they're, attacking a defensive pair or they're trying to, beat a defensive pair. They get to learn how that works. And same thing as a goaltender. They have to face these high-level shots from these top teams in order to become better.
That's right.
And we've seen it, Chris, at all levels of hockey that sometimes teams, win games because of their goaltender. Mm-hmm. And, certainly if a goaltender can keep you in the game, it gives you a chance every time. And certainly Greece will be in tough tonight, but at least trying to keep the score close if their goaltender keeps playing like she is right now.
Well, and a good example is earlier today, Slovakia played Italy here the day, and the Italians were absolutely thrilled to lose 4-0, and they couldn't believe they held the defending champions to 4-0. Not only that, they had a number of good offensive chances, and if not for the play of Tomskova in net, they may have, made it even closer. So it's these tournaments, it's these types of games raising to the level of your competition is where you see these foreign players who are still developing maybe what they really have inside. And Markazinas is a good example. She's a very good player for this Greek team as well, 94, Malono, and you'll see Dimitrikopoulos, when she gets going, she's been their best player to this point in the tournament. It's number 88, Tessa Dimitrikopoulos.
No, and with this Greece team we're seeing right now, that's a good example just then. If they can get that ball at the red line, get that ball in deep, make Canada retreat, then you have a better chance of getting those turnovers. But if you're the one turning the ball over around the red line, then you're playing totally into Canada's hands because they want to try and attack through the quick counterattack and get in for that offensive opportunity. So if you're Greece right now, you want to try and get to the red line, get the balls in deep, and if you can't get the ball back, at least make Canada make the good plays to get out of their zone and attack your offensive zone.
Absolutely, Trevor. That's a great point. So 4:34 remaining here in the first. It's Danica Smith and her D partner Brittany Smith work their way up the floor out there with the Newfoundland line of Tulk, Kane, and Coos, who all change there now. Here's Gadala. Gadala ahead for Harwick. That's chipped around Nakos. Here comes Fanny DeForge. Fanny DeForge in. Shoots. Another big save by Afexenedu. And we've talked about it before with some of these goalies, Trevor. When they get down low, they're taking away a lot of the net here. Afexenedu, a big, big goaltender.
No, one thing we have seen, they've been solid down low, as you mentioned, Chris, because they are big goaltenders and do a real nice job. And it's not easy to come across. It's not like ice hockey goaltending when you can slide across and make that sliding save. These girls have to push quick and get their body over there to be a part and take up that bottom part of the net. And we've seen some great goaltending exhibitions from those players doing that. So I guess it's part of the goaltending style in ball hockey, but a real nice job of taking care of the bottom part of the net and making some good saves down low.
Absolutely. DeForge walks out, crease violation called, and DeForge still makes Afexenedu still makes the save. Now, Trevor, our fans may ask, why in the world is the Hong Kong men's team here to watch the Greek women's team? Well, an interesting point. Number 6 with Team Greece, Stephanie So, is the mother of number 50, the speedster for Team Hong Kong, who just played Jordan So. So very, very interesting connections here. Stephanie So playing for the Greek women's national team, of course, involved with her Greek heritage, obviously met Jordan's father, and now there you have it. So Jordan So playing for Hong Kong, Stephanie mom playing for Team Greece. So really interesting.
That's a pretty good story there, and I'm willing to bet there hasn't been maybe world championships in any sport that's happened. So that's a pretty interesting story there, and that's one of the nice tidbits about being a part of these events you learn about. So that's a very interesting tidbit right there, Chris.
And we've talked about it a lot up here in the booth today. We've interviewed countless players this week, and we asked them very similar questions in terms of their background and what led you here today. And the thing is, they're all coming out here on the Glacier floor and playing the same game. But, man, the stories, the backgrounds, the different paths everyone's taken to be here this week, it's just amazing. And it's really, really, really something interesting.
No, absolutely. And, Chris, being around the game so long and being around sports, you get to learn learn more about these athletes. And you're certainly always impressed by the way they play on the floor or play on the ice, or if you're a soccer player, the way you play on the field. But it's always interesting to learn more about these people off the ice or off the floor. And that's why it's great when you're doing these interviews or getting to talk to players, away from the floor surface. It's always great to learn some of these stories, some of the challenges they may have had, some of the accomplishments they have had, that have led them to be the kind of players they are now and the kind of people they are.
And a big cheer goes up as Team Greece gets their first shot on the goal, almost their second. So now they've got something going here, putting a bit of pressure on Natalie Girard. And it's the players that we talked about, Markazinas and Dimitrikopoulos. And now they force Canada into icing the ball. So good for the Greek team to settle in here, a bigger crowd than they've had all week watching their games, and say, you know what, maybe we can play with these girls.
No, and you talked about earlier, Chris, there are some good players on this Greek team, and if they can get a couple of opportunities, you score a goal here now, it makes it very interesting. And there's no doubt about it, Canada's a stronger team, but we've talked about on numerous occasions over the last few nights that when these teams are a little lower seated, they want to keep the game close, take advantage of a few opportunities, and they're always looking for that upset to happen. Not saying it will happen tonight, but that's what they're looking for. They want to keep it close and then see what happens.
Absolutely. And Korea Kanitis, number 12, the defender on Greece, will play a ton tonight. She's a very talented player as well. And let's not kid ourselves. A lot of these Greek players, Canadian women, a lot of them play in the Vaughan Women's Hockey League. So, they're Canadian hockey players, very similar. And we discussed before, talking about progression and how countries progress. And we use Switzerland in ice hockey as an example, as Purcell carries in. But Switzerland, this year in the championship game of the Men's World Ice Hockey Championship A pool, 5-10 years ago, not even a thought. They've taken the time. They've brought in the people who know the sport. They have brought in Canadian coaches, or not. It doesn't have to be Canadian, Russian, whoever comes through, who knows the game, and that's how you develop. And the Swiss men's team is an absolute perfect example of a country that said, we're going to get good at this. We're going to put the time, the resources, and now they're there.
No, and years ago, Chris, as we know, this game, it was a Canadian game. There was a few European countries that were very strong as well, and there's 4 or 5 countries that were leading in game of hockey, on the men's side, and a couple of countries, Canada and the U.S. mainly on the women's side. But we are seeing that change because of resources going into the game, because countries are putting more money into the game. They're bringing in better coaching, as you mentioned, Chris. It's making a difference throughout the world.
And here's Tolk on a breakaway. Tolk for Coos. Oh, and Coos slides it wide. Very unselfish play by Don Tolk, who was in all alone trying to set Kristen Coos up for her second goal of the contest. 40 seconds remain here in the first period. Marquezines chips that deep past Brittany Smith. Joy Marquezines, a very talented player here. Marquezines, Dimitrikopoulos, number 88, also a good player. Hasn't had the ball in her stick much tonight, but she is a very good player as she comes back and takes the ball away from Don Tolk. Tolk will put that in the zone, go for a change. 20 seconds left as Brian is in there with Corey Kanitis. Corey Kanitis does well to keep Brian off the ball. Corey Kanitis, as the ball winds up on the back of the net, but the Greeks a little more spark in their step, maybe a little wide-eyed to start the game, Trevor, but they're settling in there now.
Oh, absolutely. Canada scores those first 2 goals in the first 2 minutes of the game, the first minute of the game, but it's certainly been very different. Canada's still dominated in terms of possession, but the Greece team is hanging on. They're playing well. They're doing a nice job of defending their zone, keeping most of the shots from the outside, with the exception of a few. Greece has also gotten a couple shots of their own here late in the period, so they're doing a nice job. And I think the big difference that we're seeing tonight, comparing them to Great Britain in the first night we saw, Chris, was that Great Britain really stayed back and were very passive in that first period. Other than the penalty kill, Greece has been aggressive on the defending zone. They've gone after the players. They've made some pressure. They've made them make the good plays. So good on Greece to be aggressive, to play that type of game. And I think that will benefit them as this game goes on.
Absolutely. And it seems that after that huge diving save by Afexinadu, the team said, hey, you know what? We're not going to leave her down there to be pelted all night by shots. Let's turn it up. Let's do it here for our goaltender, Vicky Afexinadu. And they certainly did do that.
No, I absolutely. I think right now, from a Canadian perspective, certainly they have 20 shots on goal. But if you have 20 shots on goal, you need to be scoring more goals. Yeah. So I think the Canadian coach will remind them right now that, hey, girls, we're in a hockey game right now. It's only 2-0. We scored our first 2 goals in that first minute. We had to bear down and start scoring on some of our chances so this game doesn't stay close. We don't give Greece a chance to stay in this one. So they really need to start bearing down, make the good plays, but make their shots count and shoot to score.
That's a great point, Trevor. As a coach, you never want to say you're going to win. This Greek team a little overmatched. Still only 2-0. We got to remember that. And this game happens fast. But if you, like you said, as a coach, if your team's got 20 shots on net and you scored in your first 2, so you now have 18 with no goal. So we want to bear down around the net, as you said. Anyhow, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back for the drop of the ball for the second right after this. Back for second period action. Fanny Day Forge on the draw. Back here for Madison Sands. That's going ahead there. Ion Canada's whistled on the offside.
No, and Jenny Bryan, we've talked about Jenny many times, and that's just a play there where she needs to gain the line first and then stop. Whereas when she stops on the line itself or just before the line, forces her team offside. So it's just a little simple thing, but you need to make sure you gain the offensive zone first, allow your players to enter, then you can make the play with the ball. Do not stop just before the blue line, forcing your team offside and making that face-off happen in the neutral zone.
Absolutely, Trevor. And just quick email. We got an email from Kathy Call who says, big shout out to Amanda Kane and the two other newbies. Loving the games. Keep playing hard. Kaner, I guess all the Gibbons coaching tips have paid off. So whoever Gibbons is, lots of love and support from your hometown of St. Anthony. So there you have it, folks. And then one back. George writes in, shout out to Govas and Boznakis from George FG watching from Greece. So they're watching in Greece tonight, Trev. So we got to be on top of our game here.
Absolutely. And I got to say, Chris, it's been great seeing the support from around the world for these players. You know, whether they're watching online, you know, getting updates from friends or family or the players themselves. It's great to see so much support for these players from around the world. And great for Bella Lion, too. Just put a plug in there, but great for Bella Lion to cover things like this, to provide the opportunity for family and friends to watch these games we played.
No, absolutely, as Blomberg is in. Blomberg with a shot and Afexinadu makes a save. Dimitrikopoulos, fans on that clearing attempt. Corey Kanitis in there. Big shot, bigger save, though, off the stick of Moxley. Afexinadu. She was at this the first game of the tournament, too, Trevor. She started a little bit slow, got down, and then she was just on fire against the Czech Republic.
Now, let's face it, Chris, Afexinadu playing very well right now, making some key saves. And with some of those shots coming in close, they are hard saves to make. So full marks to her for stepping up here and making some key saves for Team Greece.
And another nice stop there by Tessa Dimitrikopoulos as she goes down to block the pass. We had a chat with Tessa yesterday. Tessa grew up playing soccer, playing ice hockey, combined them here for the two, and she says this is a more difficult sport than soccer in terms of conditioning and fatigue. So
yeah, and I believe I haven't played a lot of ball hockey over the years, but I have played at the summer games level when we had it here provincially, and played a little bit at the senior level for a year or two. And it is a tough sport, because your body takes a pounding because of the concrete floor. You're doing a lot of running. Talked about it last night. You can't glide in ball hockey. Playing ice hockey, you can glide a little bit. There's no gliding in this sport. So between the pounding that your knees take while you're running, and on those really hot days too, in these buildings, it gets very warm because these buildings are made for winter hockey. So they're not, made for summer hockey. So it gets very hot in these buildings. So it is conditioning is so important. Being in good shape is important. Making sure your body is ready for that challenge each and every time you hit the floor.
Absolutely, Trevor. Back to pick that up is LaRock. LaRock controls behind the Greek net. MacArthur calls for it out here at the line. MacArthur sends it back in for LaRock. LaRock for MacArthur. MacArthur, clear lane to the net. Body's head there. Pouliot on the rebound. Another big save by Afexinadu. LaRock. Good cycle job there. Back for Pouliot. LaRock goes to the net. No one takes her there. And that's just a little too far to connect. MacArthur. Pass deflected away there by Ferguson. Good stick getting in the lane. Coos, Tulk, Kane now getting out there as Canada's able to get a line change while still in the zone. Always key. Canada works the ball down deep. Kane and Coos. Kane and Coos working the ball down deep. Coos, Tulk in front for Kane and a huge save. Rebound scores. Amanda Kane finally solves Afexinadu. You got to go upstairs where Mama hides the chocolate chip cookies.
But Amanda Kane, nice goal, good hands to keep that ball alive. They're on the rebound, but personally speaking, I think she needs to have that one-timer there. And I was just about to say before the goal was scored that I think Team Canada needs to find a way now to get the Greece goaltender moving from side to side. We're seeing that if she's square to the net, she's going to make the save. And these shots from the point aren't working right now. So you need to find a way to get this goalie moving from side to side, look for the backdoor pass, and make some quick shots happen. So when that one-timer is there, take it, because we haven't seen many rebounds given out. That's the first one, but certainly credit to Amanda Keane for making that happen and scoring that third Canadian goal.
Absolutely, and Dave Forge slides that to Blomberg, and she taps it in.
And that's exactly what we're talking about, Chris, right there. A pass comes from the bottom of the circle over to the front of the net. Greece goalie can't get it, in position to make that save, and they score their fourth goal. But that's what has to happen. Make that quick pass, throw pucks from the side to the front of the net, and some good things will happen.
Absolutely, Trev, and Affectionator's going to get tired down there too. I mean, she can't stay on her game like that the entire night. Nobody could. Here's Danica Smith. That's Blomberg from Dave Forge. As Canada continues to rack up the goals and the points here. Cockrell, and here's Dimitrikopoulos. Tessa Dimitrikopoulos, as we talked about before, very, very talented player. She's taken down by Moxley. Cockrell for Moxley, who's got all day and all of the night, and she scores. Candace Moxley from Jennifer Cockrell.
And we talked about that at the end of the first intermission, Chris, that Team Greece, if they get to that red line, they had to find a way to get the ball in deep and get away from the forechecking. And Canada does a nice job, stick on ball, a quick counterattack, 3-on-1, and then a real nice shot by Candace Moxley to score that goal. So that's good pressure in the neutral zone by Team Canada, good stick on ball, and because of the aggressive forecheck through the neutral zone, they're able to capitalize on that and score a nice goal. So good work by Team Canada. You can see Team Canada starting to rise their game in the second period already. You can see they're getting a bit more aggressive. Maybe they're a little lackadaisical there at the end of the first, but they're stepping up right now and playing more the way they need to play.
Yeah, I would certainly see in the Canadian coaching staff a little bit of a fire underneath the girls in the intermission, and they've come out here in the first 5 minutes with 3 goals. So good for them, responding, understanding the importance of finishing early and often. Away comes Johnson. She in the middle for Purcell. Purcell to Pouliot. Larocque over here on the near side. Johnston to Larocque. Good job controlling the ball by Larocque. But again, stick handling at the blue line, Trevor. You're always going to send someone offside. It's the same old story, no matter if it's ice or ball hockey.
Absolutely, because by being a part of this game, that the winger is driving hard. Whether they're running to the net or skating to the net, they're driving hard. And as soon as you make that extra move at the line, you're forcing your wingers offside. So you've got to either bring it there right away, get it in the zone yourself, or chip it off the boards and go get it again. But make sure that ball gets in the zone and then allow your wingers to run.
So back out, go the Newfie line. Kane, Coos, and Tulk. And that'll go for icing.
And, one thing we just seen and going back a shift here, but, Pouliot along the side boards there, she took a little extra time with the ball along the boards. And that's something that as this tournament goes on, you get into the playoff round, stop playing against the top teams, you're not going to have that opportunity. So I think if you're the Canadian coaching staff tonight and the leaders of this hockey team, you want to make sure that you continue to do the little things right and remind the players to do that you want that quick, certainly have ball possession, but quick movement of the ball, and don't hold on to it too long because coming up this weekend, that's not going to happen.
That's right. And they are on a collision course, Trevor. Make no mistake about it. Everyone expected it since the last championship game in Bratislava. They are on a collision course with Team Slovakia for the championship game on Sunday. And I'm going to tell you, I've been watching this women's tournament. This is the last game of the round robin. All games played here at the Glacier. Team Canada versus Team Slovakia, that is going to be one hell of a match.
No, and I've been watching a little bit online, Chris, and obviously being here at the Team Canada games each evening, but and talking to you and talking to others around the building. People are saying that's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a good hockey game, a highly skilled game. And again, for people that are around here, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
And I mean, that's assuming things go as planned.
Absolutely. But, and lots of things can happen in the tournament. We're not saying things are done already. But, from what we've seen so far, like you said, Chris, those are the two teams that are headed to the final, unless a major upset happens along the way.
And we've seen those.
Which can certainly happen.
And here's Markazinas. She stopped there. The big difference, Trevor, and again, we talked about the disparity, and the big difference I've noticed with some of the teams here that have been put together for this tournament, not necessarily, a selection process from a nationals also played in the rink. There's a distinct lack of the use of the boards for chipping the ball out and a distinct lack of putting the ball deep. And that's what's getting teams like Greece, like Great Britain in trouble. These are things that they will get in time because they're still nice save by Afexinadu. Rebound, they forge. These are things they're going to get in time because they're still working on their skill development, but it's the tricks of the trade that are really going to set them apart when they get there.
Yeah, it's the nuances of the game. And, I believe that, as a coach with these younger players, we'll call them, or less experienced players, as you mentioned, Chris, you're working on the skill development, and you're talking about making tape-to-tape passes and all those types of things. But with that being said, though, you had to find ways to beat teams, and certainly with little things, chips off the boards, getting balls in deep below the net. Those are things that will certainly help your team be successful as well. So I'm all for skill development at all levels of the game. But in saying that, too, at this level, you've got to start teaching, the other parts of the game as well. And certainly chipping the ball off the boards, that's a skill. Yeah. Getting a ball in deep in the corner and retrieving it, that's a skill. And those are the things that as these teams like Greece and Great Britain see the team Canada's play, they see the team Slovakia's play, they will start to learn that. They'll see those skills in use, and they'll start to, incorporate themselves into their game plan.
Yeah, absolutely. As Alicia Desmarais just pushes Harwick off the ball and... Nakos off the ball, and just kind of Team Greece not really wanting to get in the battles here. They said, okay, it looks like they're saying we're down 5-0, we're going to keep coming, but Yeah,
Yeah, no, and such a difference. Like we keep talking about last night in the Czech Republic game, but such a difference because the Czech Republic played a physical game and really tried to almost intimidate Team Canada by using their physicality. Greece has been very much the opposite. They're being aggressive. They're using their sticks, getting stick-on balls, but they're not the aggressive team that the Czech Republic were last night, which allows Team Canada to run a little more, allows them more time to handle the ball along the sideboards and to make the right play.
And as we say that, Markazinas does make a nice chip play and gets a break shot on, and Girard will eat that up. And Dimitrakopoulos dumps. I believe that's Johnston down in front. And don't be fooled. Dimitrakopoulos, nice girl. Very, very physical player. Definitely has an edge. Definitely has a mean streak. And I think any of Tessa's friends, teammates, opponents watching back home would certainly agree.
But just watching that play by Markazinas, there's a good example of experience. And that's a play there, you're down by 5. You've only got 3 shots on goal. She looks for the pass. But if she gets it over the blue line, that ball needs to go on the net. You need to get shots on goal and then drive the net for the rebound. And that just comes with experience, comes with confidence. But you can, right idea to look for your teammates. But, hey, nothing wrong with taking a good shot there and letting your team drive the net for the rebound.
Absolutely, especially when people are going, when you're moving up the floor. It's okay if nothing's developed. But if you got speed, you throw that at the net, let the rebound fall where it may.
Absolutely, and we've seen from this Greece team tonight, some of these girls can run.
Oh, yes.
So if you cross that blue line, you get the ball on the net, then you have players driving the net, and you're going to force the Team Canada defense to make a nice play to clear that rebound, to make that good first pass, and get it back out of their zone.
Absolutely, and, Girard still has to make the first save. Like, she's got to do her job. So,
Right, and she's only seen 3 or 4 shots this game, so, good for her to keep her focus and make that save. But if you're a Team Greece, you have to recognize that, get some balls to the net, and hope to get that bounce that you're looking for.
Absolutely, Trevor, and I hate to use this cliche because that's exactly what it is, but Gretzky was right when he said you do miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you don't put the ball at the net, it can't go in.
And that Gretzky guy was pretty good.
He was all right.
He was okay, yeah.
We're talking about Brent, right?
Absolutely.
Koriakaitis trying to make something happen here. Koriakaitis sends it to Molono. Molono chips it deep for Markazinas. And these are the top Greek players here. Markazinas, Molono. Dimitrakopoulos down there again, 88, working hard. Speed there from number 19, Mangos. Mangos in there. She sends it across, but that's picked off. And away come the Canadians. Kane already with 2. Oh, loses the handle, and All the local fans certainly love to see Amanda Kane get her hat trick here. Set across for Tulk. Tulk across for Kane to the other corner. Coos lurking out front. Now Coos and Kane will work along the boards in front of the Canadian bench. They're back here with Fleming and Johnston. Whistle blowing, and we'll get a face-off outside the Greek blue line with 4:06 remaining in the second period.
No, and if you're a Team Canada right now, Chris, you want to continue to roll your lines. And I think for the most part, they are rolling their lines tonight, getting all the players into the game. And that does a couple of things. And make sure your players are fresh heading into the playoff round. And make sure they're sharp because they have seen some game action. And it also helps to prevent injuries from your players, because when players get tired, they get fatigued, that's when injuries tend to happen. So the coach needs to keep rolling the lines now, get all the players into the game, allow all of them to see some game action so that every single player on this team is ready for the playoff round. And there's DeForest putting one off the post after a nice play by Jenny Bryan to get her that ball in front of the net.
Shot there by Moxley.
Nice cycle by Team Canada right there. Nice goal.
Dave Forge. Thanks for filling in there, Trev. Fanny Dave Forge making it 6-0 Team Canada.
And that play comes off the boards there, Chris. A nice cycle down low by Bloomberg, putting it right onto the stick of Dave Forge, who makes no mistake. And we talked about a little while ago that instead of taking this shot right straight on the goaltender, makes her move in the net. Does a nice job of going to her left, and makes no mistake putting that ball behind the Greece goaltender. So nice cycle, nice play down low to make that goal happen.
And here's Johnston as she sends that deep. Johnson and MacArthur getting off there. Here's Moxley again. Sands winds and fires, and Sands gets that one away, but that's blocked nicely in front. And the Greeks doing a much better job in terms of defensive coverage here right now, staying very close to their checks instead of giving them room. Cockrell, she's in enough in the corner. Cockrell out there with Desmier and Moxley. O'Grady there. O'Grady battling. Over here for Moxley, who's got a couple of points here tonight. Here's Cockrell. Cockrell for Moxley. Back here for Sands. Sands lets it fly. Desmier, and she's a big body, Trev. Very physical presence for Team Canada. Obviously good hands as well, as she makes a nice move around the defender, rings that off the outside of the post. Nice play by Corey Akitis. Corey Akitis sends that out and down. And Jessica O'Grady will retreat with 2 minutes remaining here in the second period. That's sent ahead for LaRock. And LaRock has that taken away by Dimitrakopoulos, but she loses it. And a nice play by Tessa Dimitrakopoulos to get that back. Slashing call coming up now to Team Canada. Greece will go on the power play as Chelsea Purcell will be listed for the slash. Greece controls down low. Mangos sends it in deep for Malono. Afexinadu thinks about it but doesn't bother, I guess, coming for the extra attacker. She's had a long night.
It's a long run, Chris, here in the second period, that long change. And I think she said, I'm good right now. I'll stay right here. Just want to talk about...
And I can't blame her either.
Hey, listen, you face 36 shots right now. You can probably stay there in your crease for a little bit. And she's made some good saves. But, you know, nice to see Melissa Sands. I think she's been a player that we've talked about on a couple of different occasions here in the last 3 games for Team Canada. More of a defensive type player, but she's getting some offensive opportunities tonight. Takes some shots on goal. We've seen her jump into the rush a few times. So this is exactly what this type of game allows these players to do. Take some chances, good chances, make some good decisions, but gain some of that confidence that you want to see from a young player. Like I say, heading into the playoff round, these types of games are great tune-ups for that. You know, no bad habits, but make sure you're working on your good habits.
And Trevor, as you know, there is no substitute for experience at this world level. It doesn't matter who you are, where you've been, who you're playing against. Once you put that maple leaf on and step on the floor, all bets are off. You've got to start all over. You're a rookie all over again. And a lot of these girls, you know, for the first time wearing the maple leaf, And I'm sure there's still lots of jitters every time. I mean, you walk in and your stall's prepared for you. The jerseys are beautiful. Canada always does it well. Dimitrikopoulos in, sends it wide for Malono, but that's a little too hard to handle. And away comes Larocque. Larocque, the speedy penalty killer for Team Canada. And we talked about her speed last night. I have a note. I got a note on my email last night, Trev, and I'll elaborate a bit more why Chantel is such a speedster. And I'll wait for the intermission as there's only 25 seconds left. But it's quite a story. Again, one of these stories you pick up at these events.
No, and just to touch on before the intermission comes, though, Chris, we're talking about that Team Canada jersey. And, each and every one of these players are obviously a star on their club teams, a star on their ice hockey teams. But when you put on that Team Canada jersey, you're not a star anymore. You become a part of a team, something bigger. And each of these players have to accept a role. And we've seen it over the years, with our involvement in Hockey Canada programs, when great players come together, the greatest teams are usually assembled and usually, have the most success when those players accept roles. And from what we've seen so far with Team Canada, you've got a lot of great hockey players here who are accepting their roles. And that's why they're having success thus far. Absolutely,
and you're so right, Trevor, when you talk about acceptance of roles, team building, team composition. You can have 12 first-line centers. It just doesn't work.
No, exactly, because, over the years we've seen numerous teams, some Team Canada's included, but we've seen teams that might be very offensive gifted, maybe have these star players, but do not win championships. And that can be for a number of different reasons, but I'm a true believer that when the teams work hard and teams believe in each other and teams respect each other, that's when championships happen, because you're working hard, you're playing for the other person sitting on the bench next to you, and you want to win that championship for all the right reasons.
And just to touch on the email I mentioned about Chantel, so I asked in the broadcast last night, how is this girl in such good shape? Well, her fiance writes in to me and he says, just a huge shout out to and for Chantel Larocque. And I'd really like everyone to know that she keeps busy, sometimes too busy, coaching AAA female midget hockey, Pee Wee summer hockey. She dry land trains the girls for the hockey. She works 2 jobs, process of being ready to be a bride. So Chantel obviously got it together, obviously fit as a fiddle, and you can see that, and it helps with her penalty killing work. Obviously not just training people, but practicing what she's preaching.
No, and it's absolutely great to see a player at this level giving back to the game in various manners. She's coaching midget AAA hockey. She's training players. That is great. And you want to see that, as a staff person involved in the game, as a volunteer myself. Chris, you're the exact same way. We've been around, hockey programs for a long time. It's great to see players giving back to younger players, because we've all benefited ourselves from coaches over the years who have helped us along. So it's great when you see high performance players at any sport giving back to their community, helping these young athletes get to that next level. So good for Chantel to be a part of that and helping her players and in her community, drive to get that next level.
Oh, absolutely, Trevin. Just want to answer this email online because I'm sure a lot of our viewers will have the same questions. Alyssa writes in and asks, hey guys, is there a way we could purchase a DVD of the games? If so, how could that be done? Well, Alyssa, if you want to send me your money, that's absolutely okay, but we're going to do you one better. We're going to make all the games available for free on our 2013 World Ball Hockey Championship YouTube channel. And we've been able to do that by working with Bell Alliance, who've been an amazing sponsor. And they said, you know what? You can do that. We're sponsoring this tournament. You can take our product, put it out there for free. Just let people know it's courtesy of Bell Alliance. So Alyssa, if you go onto YouTube or you go onto our Facebook page for this tournament, you'll see some links to various games. And what we've done here today, and it only started today, so it takes some time because the games are high definition quality. The games are being uploaded one by one to our YouTube site. So you will be able to go on there, find any game you want. And if you're technical enough or know somebody who's technical enough, you can download these files and burn them to DVDs yourself, and that is a whole lot easier. So if anyone is out there wondering that question, that's the answer. And Alyssa, thanks for bringing it up. And we certainly look forward to providing the live games as well as making the archive games available, as things have been in huge demand here this week.
No, and that's great, Chris. You know, we talked a little bit earlier about Bell Alliance and the opportunity they're providing for these games to be broadcast around the world via the internet. And, you know, we know ourselves, you know, being from Atlantic Canada, you know, the last number of years, Bell Alliance has really stepped up and provided some tremendous opportunities for Atlantic championships in all sports to be broadcast, you know, across the internet. So, you know, just another wonderful opportunity, you know, by Bell Alliance to be a part and show their community pride and, you know, their community involvement by being a part of an event like this. And certainly it's great that they've given permission to put those up on YouTube and allow people to download them and everything else. Just outstanding. And another huge shout out and thank you to Bell Alliance for that opportunity to be presented, you know, to fans and family and friends around the world for this championship.
Absolutely. No, you can't say enough. And you hit the nail on the head. Like, we're doing a world championship here and providing it for free. Many other world championships, national championships, you know yourself, you've got to go in, you've got to pay per game, or you've got to buy a pass or a code, and that can cost upwards, you know, I've paid $50, $100, $200 for some tournaments, and to provide this for free and the quality for free. I mean, the commentary, yeah, you know, that's left to be desired a little bit, but the actual picture that people are receiving,
hey,
it's high definition quality.
The commentators are amateurs, but hey, but listen, that camera guy is outstanding.
He is a professional.
And look at the way this guy works. You know, he never stops working. This guy is phenomenal. He's always on the camera. He never sits down. It's just an unbelievable thing to watch. It's a thing of magic, really.
Well, folks, you wouldn't believe it, but everything's brought to you by one camera angle, and Tatey's always working, whether it's running wires, getting the best angle, moving the camera on his shoulder, whatever he has to do, he's just making this happen. And Tatey's just been, you know, 100% a go-getter. Anything we've needed here this week as a cameraman, anything we've asked for, he's gone and done it over and above the call of duty. So thank you again to professional cameraman Tatey O'Rourke for all his service as we get back underway here in the third. And that's Affectionator down, taking care of that one.
So we're into the third period now, Chris. Last round robin of the women's competition. Team Canada up 6-0 here. Shots on goal are 37-3 in favor of Team Canada. So if you're the Team Canada coaching staff right now, you are ensuring that you continue to roll your lines. You're not developing any bad habits because you know this is your final 15 minutes for a tune-up before you hit the playoff round. So the players are being reminded, the coaching staff are being reminded that everything, you keep working positive, you keep good habits happening, and make sure that no bad habits sneak into this third period.
Absolutely, Trev. And, you know, we've been around a lot of hockey, a lot of coaches, and a lot of personalities. And, you know, having been around the game so long, I've, you know, been through a few of these games. And it's funny because some things coaches will have you do when the game gets out of hand like this in order to work on things and in order to continue to develop your team. As Cockrell gets in there for Desmier, they're trying to get her one. Affectionator with a great save, though. That's still loose. Cockrell sends it behind the net for Moxley. Moxley recovers. She's being watched closely there by Skofich. Out here for Cockrell. Cockrell in front. And they're really trying to get Elysia Desmier a goal here. That might be another one of those Team Canada jokes. They're just trying to make sure she scores one.
But you know something, it's funny you say that, Chris, because watching her there in the second period, she had some real good chances. She hit a post. The goalie made a couple of good saves on her. You could tell by her body language it wasn't real positive. So, and she's a player that you can tell has some very good skill. And she's a player that, you know, where she's big, where she's a strong player, she has good hands. If you can get her off the snide here and get her one, she could be very effective for you in the playoffs. So if her alignments are trying to get her off the snide, good for them, because she could be an important piece of the puzzle going forward.
And Brittany Smith walks in and fans on it. And talking about snake bit, and Brittany Smith's had a ton of opportunities the last night in 2 games too. And she was player of the game last night. Don't get me wrong, she was awesome. But sometimes it doesn't matter what you do, you just can't get that goal.
No, I mean, you see Brittany Smith smiling right now because she knows that she found that ball going in. But, you know, we've talked about Brittany Smith numerous occasions here, as well as Danica Smith and the other defensemen for Team Canada. Just the way they're playing the game, they're doing such a wonderful job of taking away the neutral zone, standing up their blue line, playing a wonderful defensive game. If they start scoring some goals, that's a bonus. But they have to make sure they stay solid on the back end, and certainly the 2 Smith girls have been doing that.
Absolutely. And just get back to my point, talking about, you know, blowout games like this, you don't want to run up the score. I think the Team Canada coaching staff after the Great Britain game even realized, you know, that might have been a bit much running the score like that to that total. You know what, though? First game of the tournament and the World Championships, you're going to want to do your best. Regardless, there's some things that coaches will work on. Coaches will say, you know what, make 3 passes before you shoot. Coaches will say, you know, I've had a couple of coaches win up 6-0. They want you to go into your power play setup. I've had coaches that will tell you not to shoot. You know, all kinds of things. But in order to work on individual skill, that's what you need to do.
No, for sure, Chris. And there's that fine line that, you know, you're in a world championship right now. You're trying to, you know, get yourself ready for that gold medal game.
And Don Talk scores.
So there's that fine line of, you know, do we keep working hard? Do we let up? What do we do? But I think the biggest thing, as we've been discussing, is that you keep working, you keep pressuring, but you make sure that you do things the right way. You don't create bad habits. So if a 3-0 game you don't shoot from a bad angle, you don't shoot in a bad angle in that type of game. So you make sure that you're passing the ball around, you're doing the right things right, and I believe if you do that, your team will continue to build. And at this level, your opposition will not think you're rubbing it in if you're just playing the game.
That's correct.
And I guess the other piece of that too, Chris, you know, you do score that, you know, that 15th goal, there's no need to celebrate.
No.
Just score the goal, get back, and you're ready for the face-off. Just little things like that show the sportsmanship, but still allow you to play your game at a high level and compete and make sure you're getting ready for that next big game.
That's right. And Talk again on that one. So she'll keep pace in her drive for the scoring lead here. I know that's not her primary goal, but it's always a nice feather. And I'm not sure, but Kane may get the second assist, so that will be a 3-point night for her should the referee award it.
No, and, you know, certainly, you know, being here in Newfoundland, seeing the Newfoundland girls play so well for Team Canada, you know, certainly contributing offensively and being solid defensively as well, but being very good on the score sheet, that's great for, you know, all fans to see. And certainly a real bump for ball hockey in the province, seeing these girls do so well.
Well, there's a lot of young girls in the stands here tonight and all week, and, you know, maybe one day they can be Amanda Kane or Dawn Talk or Kristen Coos, or they could be the next Vicky Afexinadu. I mean, she's a fantastic goaltender down there. So, you know, she's got 36 saves to this point, you know.
No, there's so many, and it goes back to our conversation earlier about tremendous hockey players, but great individuals as well. And these players on both teams, and all the teams that we've seen so far this week, have been great role models for the game of ball hockey. And, you know, if you're the president of the International Ball Hockey Association, or the Canadian Ball Hockey Association, you've got to like the fact that you're seeing these players play at such a high level, but being great ambassadors for the game at the same time.
Yes, absolutely. 100% right there, Trevor. Shot wide by O'Grady. And Blomberg's in there. She's also up there in the scoring race. Sands. Actually, Trevor, we should note, and this game has really gone really quickly for Team Canada tonight. They're missing Amy Dawson. She was injured in last night's game, and Sands has been able to step in quite well. But Amy Dawson, and in the world of technology, how did I find out she wasn't playing? Of course, she tweeted it. So we didn't get the media report. We found out Amy wasn't playing through a tweet. So, you know, the world of technology. But hopefully, you know, a speedy recovery for her. I don't know the extent of the injury, but she is out of the lineup tonight, so hopefully not for too long.
Oh, that's right. And hopefully it's more of a precaution type thing. You know, being the third round robin game, 3 games in 3 nights, you know the playoffs are starting tomorrow. Maybe it's just a decision that if it's not a serious injury, you give her the night off. You know you have a strong contingent to keep your team going on a positive note. Give her the night off and make sure she's ready to go, hopefully tomorrow night for the first game of the playoffs.
Yes, absolutely. And Trev, something else we should note here tonight in the stands here, taking this game in, supporting the girls, the Team Canada men. And, you know, a lot of those guys local, a lot of times the countries, you know, they travel to get here together. Canada will probably do it different sometimes where, you know, it's more bringing individuals in, more of a professional atmosphere rather than some countries who, you know, travel as a group more for the experience. So, you know, these Team Canada men, you know, no requirement to be here. It's their first night off. They've been playing really hard. And what do? Well, they come check out the women's game. So good on them for coming to support the women's team.
And it's always good to see the men's team support the women's team, or vice versa, you know. And to your point, Chris, it's good to see the country supporting each other is what it comes down to. And, you know, good for the men to kind of come out here and, you know, be as a full team, you know, to support their country. But also, too, I think it's important that they get out of the hotel. You know, they've had, like I said, they've been playing hard the last few nights. The last thing you want to be doing is sitting around the hotel all night and kind of getting lazy and everything else. So it's good to get out, walk around a little bit, watch some ball hockey, see what's going on in the, you know, the other community and the other rink that's being used for this championship. But just great to see, and they're all here in their Team Canada hoodies. So great to see, and I'm sure that the girls certainly appreciate their support, because I know that the women were in, I believe, after the opening ceremonies.
Yes.
The Team Canada women were down to support the men's team. So great to see that happening, and the camaraderie among the countries here at this championship.
Yes, absolutely. And here's Dimitrakopoulos, who scored a laser beam goal. If anyone gets a chance to check out the highlights, and that's a nice one-timer by Corey Kanitis. Greece really moving in here on this power play right away. Good on him. Joy Markazinas for Corey Kanitis. Corey Kanitis shoots. That's tipped. Dimitrakopoulos takes a stab for it. And Cockrell will get that down the floor, but a very good first half of this power play for Team Greece.
No, you're right, Chris. They were very aggressive on it. They gained the zone quickly and set up very quickly, which is good to see. They were looking for that backdoor pass to try and get the shot on goal. So good, aggressive, first power play setup for Team Greece.
Away comes Harwick. Harwick chips it ahead for Dimitrakopoulos. Here's MacArthur. MacArthur doing a good job to shield the ball there on the boards. Again, putting it high off the glass. This one goes over. 8:39 remains in the third period. 48 seconds in the holding penalty to Alicia Desmier.
And that's one of those things we talked about right there, Chris, on the Greece power play. That Team Canada, defense and MacArthur does a nice job of shielding the ball, killing some time off the clock because it was a one-on-one battle against, the Greece forward. That's where the Greece team has to read that play and make sure they have two girls on the ball to make sure that they are getting their opportunity and do not waste precious seconds off of the power play. So it comes back, to our earlier conversation about experience, about gaining some knowledge of the game and doing the little things right that you need to win. And certainly, outnumbering the opposition on the ball in the corners will help you do that. And that's something that we'll continue to see with experience.
Team Greece will take a timeout here. The clock is running, and I don't know if anyone's aware of that.
That's the timeout clock.
I'm
Chris.
sorry. I thought it was 10 minutes. I couldn't see around. Couldn't see around the post there.
But since you're doing the sixth game of the day, we'll give you a break on that one.
Sixth game of the day, Trev. Me and Tatey have been here for what? 3, 6, 11, 17. This is our 23rd game since Sunday for me and Tatey. And you know what, Tatey? We're not even 2/3 of the way through, buddy. So we finish up on Sunday with the men's A pool bronze medal game here. And what a time we're having at the Glacier. It's been great. The staff at the Glacier has been great. The music's been good. Everything's been good. The quality of the ball hockey's been good. The fries have been good. You got to have fries at the rink, Trev.
The fries at the Glacier are world known, actually, Chris. I'm not sure if you're aware of that or not, but these are world-class fries here at the Mount Pearl Glacier. And having spent many hours here over the years, I have had a few of my favorite fries here. So,
well, we've got some messages coming in on the text message, the Twitter. I'd like to say hello to our buddy Steve Power. Steve's out there. He's battling a couple of diseases. Steve hasn't been doing so well lately. So, Steve, we want to let you know that we're thinking about you, and I want you to get better, buddy. That's from both me and Murph here in the booth. And, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Everybody, gets sick from time to time. So we'd like to see you out around the rink a little bit more, Steve. So thanks very much for texting in. Behind the net is Desmier. Desmier on the ball. She sends it out front for Moxley, and Afexinadu jumps on that and holds on.
And for those people who don't know Steve Power is a legend in the St. John's area, a coaching legend, an administrative legend, and just an all-around hockey guru in the St. John's area. So it's always a pleasure receiving a text from a gentleman of Steve Power's stature in our community. So I'll just say a thank you to Steve as well.
You know what, Trev? I didn't know the man knew how to text. I really didn't. But he got his hands out of a bag of chips long enough, I guess. Back we go. Moxley sends that wide for Desmier. Desmier works along the boards for Moxley. Moxley sends that in deep. Desmier retrieves the ball. 7 minutes remain here in the third. For Moxley. for Purcell. My goodness, Cockrell. Cockrell in deep for Moxley. I think we need to get a Candace Moxley fan club on the go called Moxley Crew. That is my suggestion for tonight.
The Moxley Crew?
Moxley Crew after Motley Crue.
I don't
Moxley
mind that.
Crew.
I don't mind that
I think
one
Candace
bit.
needs her own fan club. We're going to get her up here for the interview tonight and see if we can get that going. And there's another nice goal. I think, was that Pouliot?
Larocque.
Larocque puts that in. So Chantel sends that out to all the girls. And a little shimmy on the
shimmy
way
on
back.
the goal celebration.
A little shimmy just to let Pouliot know, hey, that was me. So working on her moves, too, is Chantel
I've
Larocque.
seen you celebrate like that before. Back when you were Bantam days, playing at the Mount Pearl Glacier, I've seen you do the shimmy.
I'm one of those guys who can only dance with his shoulders. I can't use the lower part of the body. I can do if I'm driving, I look like a good dancer. I'm on the dance floor, I look like I got a problem.
Kind of like one of those dashboard bobbleheads every time you dance.
Steve Power writing back in and says, I do love the Glacier fries. I'm not so fond of their gravy, but that's okay. Here we go again. Around for Larocque. That's chipped out of the zone. And away comes Purcell. Purcell sends it in the zone. Purcell for Larocque for Pouliot. Oh, and that would have been pretty had they connected. Afexinadu now up to 40 saves. Digging is Purcell, excuse me. Larocque in there on that. Larocque for Pouliot, wide open in the slot. Purcell, one-timer, what a save by Afexinadu, getting across and with the right pad, Trevor. What a stop.
And only her 50th shot against tonight.
Is that all?
So if you're making saves like that after 50 shots, you are doing well. So Afexinadu, we've talked about her on numerous occasions tonight, but still doing a wonderful job. She's made 42 saves this evening in a 8-0 game right now, but 42 saves in any sport. That's an impressive night, and she is continuing to move in her net very well here late in the game.
Absolutely, Trev. Still 5 minutes to play, so she might see another 10. I just want to talk about something here, and I've told the listeners before, I'm relatively new to ball hockey, but it seems to me the net comes dislodged a lot, and I'm not sure if they have magnets on the floor to go with the pegs, but it certainly doesn't appear that way. And if they do, they're certainly not strong enough. And it really is something that slows the game down. I don't know if it's something that the International Street and Ball Hockey Federation have looked at, but certainly to me, something that would be a great addition to this sport. Obviously you can't put the pegs down like in the ice, but if you had a strong magnet underneath, a circular magnet the same size as the post, it may work. Keep it there, from the little bumps anyway.
No, absolutely, and I think it's something that, with the metal of the post on the concrete, it's going to slide quite easily. And, we've seen it here at the women's game, so I can imagine at the men's game where it's a bit more aggressive, more speed and everything else, I could see that becoming more of an issue. Now, the only thing I can think of is maybe more of a safety type of concern that you have players who aren't wearing the same type of equipment you are during ice hockey, so that's probably the biggest reason why. But if you had some type of, like you said, just a small magnet or something that helped with some of those small bumps,
right.
Certainly something that could release on the large bump, but I would think that's probably the biggest reason, more of a safety issue than anything else. But I do agree with your point. It does slow the game down and causes some unnecessary whistles.
Well, and that's one of it. And then, you know what? If you're a goalie who, Corey Kanitis shoots, just misses wide on the high side. If you're a goalie who is, a little bit smart, and the play is deep, it's a little bump. It doesn't even have to be obvious.
No, and for these goalies, we've talked about their size.
Yeah.
Just if you're a big goalie and you're going from post to post, it's nothing for you to knock that net off.
No, of course, no.
So I don't know how the referees will rule that in terms of a delay of game. And we're seeing an example right now. The Team Canada goaltender Girard came across, just made a very basic post-to-post move, made a good save, but the referee came in to fix the net right after it. So a very good example of your point there, Chris, of how the net moves so easily.
Down in front, Girard and the Greeks putting the pressure on here, but Girard equal to the task, and Trevor all down there all night to get 6 shots through all that, to be able to react that quickly that takes mental toughness
Now,
as well.
you want to see that from your goaltender. As a coach, you love seeing that she has not been tested a whole lot during the evening, but when she has been, she's been right there. And that play, it's hard when you haven't been getting a feel for the ball throughout the evening. It's very easy for those rebounds to stay there. That time, Girard was able to make sure she smothered that ball and did not give Greece a second chance. And there we see another good job of making this save and making sure she cleared the ball away and to prevent any second chances from Greece. So good for her to stay focused in the Team Canada goal and try and be one of the best penalty killers here on this penalty kill for Team Canada.
Absolutely. And my new favorite player, Fanny Desforges, with a great shot block up 8-0, creating the room for Blomberg to be robbed by Afexnedo, but Desforges not playing to the whistle. She keeps digging. Fanny Desforges, everybody's favorite player. Blomberg bounced around in there. She keeps going. Great game by Alicia Blomberg. Sent back down here, but not out. Blomberg working hard, and she sends it deep. And a great shift by Blomberg. Absolutely gets a nice hand from the crowd here. Good work. Koryakinitis sends it long. That's knocked down by MacArthur. MacArthur sends it ahead. Moxley crew. Shot save Afexnedo. And that's fired high and out of play with 2:59 remaining in the third period. 16 seconds in the body checking penalty to Don Tulk.
Now let's go back one shift to Desforges and Blomberg. What a great job on that penalty kill. And that goes back to that aggressiveness we've talked about, that they're not sitting back, they are being aggressive. And when you do that, you put the pressure on Team Greece to make that good pass. And if you don't make that good pass, it goes off the boards, back onto a Team Canada stick in the neutral zone, you can dump it back in again. So that aggressiveness, it certainly kills time off the clock, forces Team Greece into some bad situations, and does exactly what you want to happen. Forces them to slow the game down and do not give them any extra chances to gain possession, which eventually leads to, gaining the offensive blue line.
Absolutely. Out here for Smith. Excuse me, that's MacArthur. Even strength here as Purcell returns to the floor. Moxley in hard on the forecheck. Ahead for Malono. Malono with a nice chip play around MacArthur, and away she goes. Good job by Melissa Malono.
And we've seen that a couple of times here in the third period. The Greece team has used that chip, which we talked about. So maybe that, as the game, maybe the coach reminded them of that. Maybe they're getting some more experience as the game goes on. But that chip play has worked for them now 2 or 3 times, where they've made the chip, they've gained the offensive zone, and now because of that little chip, they're going to get an offensive zone face-off and potential opportunity for a shot on goal. And here we are in the third period. We've got 2:14 left. Shots on goal are 53 for Team Canada, 7 for Team Greece. 3 of Team Greece shots coming here late in this period, just coming off a power play. So with 2:14 left, it's been an entertaining game to watch. Team Canada has played very well, and certainly give Greece full marks for hanging in this game, playing a good defensive zone system, and certainly full marks to Afexnedo for the job she's done in the Greece goal. Another nice save right there by Girard.
And full marks to the Greek team for not quitting. It's 8-0.
It'd be very easy right now. At 8-0, it'd be very easy to just say, we're done, let's just get this game over with, but absolutely not. Team Greece continuing to get some shots on goal. Probably their best 5 minutes of the game here coming in the last 5 minutes, so good for them. And again, Girard stepping up in the Team Canada goal to take away that shooting opportunity from Team Greece.
Absolutely. Now, Trevor, something that, we've seen here tonight, Markazinas, Dimitrikopoulos, Koryakinitis on the back end. Good Greek players, well coached, good skill. Team's just not deep enough to compete with a team like Team Canada who can keep rolling the lines out there like that.
Yeah, and we had a conversation last evening about the better teams. They had that depth. And when you have good depth and you have pieces of the puzzle, so you have your defensive players, you have your offensive players, you have your grinders, you have your speed, that all plays into it. And certainly Team Canada has that. Team Slovakia has that. Team Greece right now, just not deep enough. They have some good players, but that will come again with experience, the opportunity to grow this program, continue to develop more players. That will come, but certainly just not that depth that you need to compete at this level against the top teams.
And Tesmier, and you heard the groan from the bench. They're really trying to get her one. That must be a running joke with the team. Nice job by Dimitrikopoulos going down the block that one.
You gotta love a player. An 8-0 game blocking that shot. That's outstanding to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And another nice play by Afexinadu. Minute 8 remains. Team Canada leads 8-0. At the conclusion of this game, please remember to stay tuned. We'll have the player of the game presentations. We'll have the Canadian anthem. And we'll have our post-game show where our guest tonight will be Candace Moxley and Natalie Girard.
So we have an official post-game show now, not just interviews. It's an official post-game show.
Official post-game show. We got a sponsor.
Outstanding. That's outstanding.
We got a sponsor.
You start calling it the Studio 2 crew or something like that.
And away we go. It's Malono. Malono chips it ahead. Broken up by Smith. Brittany Smith now. Brittany Smith cuts in, shoots, and she misses. Brittany Smith again. For Coos. Coos on the ball. She's got Kane. Kane with 2. Oh, just wide of the net. And Amanda Kane and all her supporters here hoping for the hat trick. Here's Malono as she is flying, and she's been good tonight for Greece as well, Trevor.
But there we see Danica Smith again stepping up the blue line. Just a good stick-on ball. Nothing fancy, not too much. Just a nice job of a stick-on ball at the blue line to cause that turnover and make sure that Greece does not get into the offensive zone.
And here's Blomberg with one last chance. Blomberg and a save by Afexinadu, fittingly to end this game. And folks, that's an 8-0 final. Team Canada wins. Afexinadu with a great game. And we'll be taking a short break. We'll return with the post-game show right after this. Mic check. Okay, we are back here for the post-game show. Firstly joined by Greek defender Nicole Nakos. Nicole, just came off the floor.
Yep.
What's your initial reaction to the game out there tonight?
It was a great. We were trying to keep the score low. It was a good, clean game. I mean, we did the best we could. Played defensive. Nothing much more we could do against Canada.
No, there's not. And coming here behind you is the person that helped keep it that way. Come on in, Vicky.
All right, Vicky.
And what's the proper pronunciation?
Afuxenedo.
Yeah, you know what? We've been pretty close. Well, a fuxinado.
Yeah.
We've been saying affectionado, so not bad.
She's
Close.
affectionate.
That's fine. I'm used to it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. It's not like Smith, eh? Well, girls, so for us up here, quick start, first 2 shots go in or whatever it was. But after you made the diving save, it's like you guys on the bench said, you know what, we're not going to hang her out like this tonight, and then turn it around. Is that kind of what happened?
That's it. Yep. She's a great goalie. All we had to do is help her out.
We did better than last tournament.
Yeah.
It was 20-0.
To Canada?
Yeah.
And what was it just then? 7?
8.
8?
8. Nothing.
So great job,
Yeah.
I guess.
It was great.
Yeah,
It was great.
but you also got 10 or 12 shots on net on an offensive role.
Yeah.
Actually, a couple of really good chances, better than anyone else has done against Canada this week. So
Sorry,
you guys can build on that. Well, we talked about it.
Yeah.
You guys got Dimitrokopoulos there, and Markinitis. That's where I was going, and also on the back end, Corey Kanitis.
Yep.
Maybe a little more growth, a couple more years, a bit depth. But you've got a good defenseman, goaltender, a couple of forwards. So is that the plan? Like, have you guys already thought about Switzerland and?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right,
So.
Vicky?
That's a goal, yeah.
Yeah. So building towards there. I mean, you want to be realistic in your goals, of course, and you're not done here yet. Right, and the way you guys have been playing, who knows? Yeah. Okay, but tell us a little bit more about what the thoughts are going into 2015. What have you guys kind of talked about here this week?
Well, it's going to be a new change. We have a new coach. So the whole organization is going to be running through Canada probably. Because, it didn't work the way we wanted so far. So right now for 2015, the goal is to have a great team, just young players, a few from this tournament, so we can go, and a few girls from Greece. So we're planning on having camps.
And the viewers may not know, especially Canadian viewers, a couple of months ago, nobody was coming.
No.
This was like the last 2 months it was put together.
So tell us a little about how that process happened and how you ended up here today.
Well, we had some problems in Greece due to economy. So no one could basically afford to come. Like if you have a salary of 800 euros a month, you can't really afford to come because it's like around 2,000 euros the ticket.
Sure.
So it was pretty bad, and we were like, okay, we can't go. And then girls from Canada, they started asking like, so you guys have camps, you have anything? So at some point we say like, we have to try and do it, So one of the girls have this friend, so we're gonna start and find girls that played, and I think it was okay.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
To put
it
together
like that,
and we
absolutely.
made history. We had our first victory yesterday.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know we had Tessa up here after, and she was obviously a big part of that.
Absolutely.
Dating girls get ready to come up, but guys, first time in St. John's for you too, outside of the hockey. How's everything been?
Great.
It's
Great
awesome.
hospitality.
That's
Great
awesome.
city. Yeah.
Yeah, you've enjoyed yourselves?
Yeah. We have.
Yeah.
Screech is great. Oh yeah, Screech is great.
Now see, we sent the Great Britain girls up there yesterday,
Oh, we were there with them.
there.
and I told them to tell the guy that we don't drink that stuff.
Oh, we do.
The locals, we don't touch it.
Why not?
Well, because it's not that good.
It's okay.
Yeah, after a hard game,
Yeah.
it was better than Advil.
Went
That's all
down
we
far.
needed, yeah.
It was
Absolutely.
great. It was
Well,
good.
ladies, obviously a lot of people watching in Greece, in Toronto, cheering for you guys. We're getting all kinds of emails into the booth here. Anyone you want to say hi to? Any messages you want to send along?
Hi
Love
to our
you, Mom.
families for all their support and good wishes.
Oh,
And
that's-
good luck to the teams and the rest of the tournament.
Well, that's not a great message. Now, you will go home because we've had a lot of people say they're going to stay. They're just not going to leave after the tournament. They're going to stay here in St. John's. What do you think
Oh, I
about
wish.
I have children.
that? Even a better reason, I've heard.
Yeah, I have to go home. Yeah, I don't know about you, Vicky.
have my dogs at home, so I can't leave them.
They're more
It's not
important than
working.
children.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Well,
Uh-oh.
thanks so much for joining us, Vicky. Go get another ice bath or whatever you've been doing. I think you've only had 3,000 shots on you the last couple of days, so great job. We're watching up here. It's been great. And as for the rest of the girls, you guys have been spot on as well. So congratulations for everything. Your big win. And maybe you sneak one out in the playoffs tomorrow. Who knows?
You never know.
Who knows?
The underdog.
Shock the world.
Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
All right. Good night.
guys.
Thank you, guys. Oh, where's the screech?
Okay, so we're back, and as promised, as you see on the bottom of your screen, we told you we'd bring Natalie Gerard and Candice Moxley to the booth. Ladies, another big win tonight. Started very, very quickly with 2 goals on 2 shots. I guess, Natalie, for you first. Well, let's go back before the 2 goals and the 2 shots. The girls kind of got you, didn't they, on the way out of the tunnel?
They did.
They did?
Yes, I came out all by myself. But that's because I was way too eager and didn't look back, and then I got caught.
Well, I tell you, we noticed it. We've been around the game a while, and she came out, and Trevor said, no, I think she's just excited. I said, no, they're getting her. And you could see when the girls came out, everyone was laughing, slapping. So obviously you guys, as a team, are really coming together.
We have. I mean, some of us have been playing together for a while, but a lot of us have been playing against each other, so it's a bit of an adjustment, but overall we're gelling quite well.
Absolutely. And so for Natalie, for yourself, is this your first go-around with the national team?
It is, yes.
And we figured that. We weren't sure. We didn't have the information, but especially with that stunt, absolutely. So we loved it. We talked about it on the broadcast. Some fans got it. So it's a classic hockey move. It never gets old.
No, it doesn't.
But to be serious for a minute, 10, 12 shots, whatever you got tonight, 6 maybe until late in the third. Mm-hmm. How do you keep your head in it? How do you not daydream? What do you do to stay focused?
That's a good question. Obviously, I enjoy the play that the team is doing. Tonight I think it was hard for everybody to stay in the game. We're trying to make plays and everything. But generally, I'm fairly good at keeping focus and just watching what's happening to obviously stay in the game. So you got to be ready every single second.
Absolutely. And you went in the first game, same scenario. But then late in the game, the Greeks they had some offensive pressure. You were there. You made some saves. So you got a bit of action. And how'd you feel how you played when called upon?
It felt great to actually be involved and contribute to the team. So it's just glad to be in the game at some point, and the end is great. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well,
3-0, first place, play Switzerland tomorrow. Relax a bit tonight. You guys have the luxury of all the late games so far, so lots of time to rest during the day or whatever. So Candice, as a forward, how do you guys keep doing what you're supposed to be doing in terms of systems, play, and all that, when obviously your opponent, you can do whatever you want probably and get away with it. So how do you stay focused?
Well, I think that us as a team, we're still trying to get to know each other because I haven't played with my line mates. I played with Des 2 years ago, so it's been some time. But it's just a matter of us communicating and getting to know each other, where we're going to be and where we're releasing to be options. So it's still an adjustment period for us. So we've been able to kind of work with it and try and find what works.
And what have you guys been doing? You haven't had a lot of time in your own end. Mm-hmm. Have you guys been practicing during this tournament away from the game times? I don't know. Have you guys had practice time?
We've had practice time. We worked a little bit on our D zone. We have our systems set, But yeah, we haven't had a lot of opportunities in game to use it. So I think when it comes down to it, when we start to get that pressure, it's going to come down to us kind of working together and communicating so we know where we are in our D zone and kind of work on those breakouts and getting those balls out.
For sure. And obviously the team's been very offensive, all the lines chipping in. It looked to us tonight that you were trying to get Alicia a goal. Was that what was going on out there?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Is that going on?
Yeah. With it, we've had some of our girls haven't scored in a while, so we try to work the ball around a little bit and still keep it real out there, but try and find them so they can get a few shots on net and see what happens.
For sure, and she just couldn't do it.
No. Maybe next.
She gets many posts.
Yeah.
Maybe next time. All right, and so we'll know when the big chair goes up.
Yeah, there's a few more games.
Same thing with Brittany. She had in the last 2-3 games so many chances.
She's a little bit snake bit right now, so hopefully she can shake that off for some big games coming.
She'll get a big one along the line.
Yeah.
So I know you guys are doing your cool down, your stretches. We'll have a bit of fun with it here now. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the internet stuff that's been going on with the tournament, but there's a guy named Johnny Tulip, plays for Team Great Britain, and we just loved his name. We created the Johnny Tulip fan club. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, but in watching the game tonight, just kind of going through the lines, we decided we're going to get you a fan club, and we're going to call it Moxley Crew. Is that okay with you if we start that? Moxley Crew.
Motley
Crew. We're going to go with Moxley Crew.
Yeah, okay. I'm
okay?
all right. Yeah, I'm totally okay with that. Yep.
All right. We'll get the girls to rally around that too. So Moxley Crew, the new fan club. If anyone's out there, if anyone wants to take the initiative and start the Moxley Crew fan page on Facebook, I'll certainly chip in with photos, video, whatever.
Oh boy.
I just don't really have the time to do it, but that should be a bit of fun. We're going for it, and everything we touch is turned to goal here this week, so we might as well go with that too.
Might as well.
Finally, ladies, long way from home. Is there anybody home watching now that you wanted to say hi, thank you, or anything else to?
My parents, I know they're watching online, and my mom's been sending me emails yelling at me when I've taken penalties, so stayed out of the box tonight, Mom, so no more emails.
And I have two young kids, young. They're 13 and 11, so I'm going to say hi and hope you're watching. And a big hi to my husband as well. Thank you for taking care of the kids, and happy birthday to my youngest. It was his birthday yesterday. Oh. And a big hi to my family in Alberta, because I know they've been watching me. So
that's awesome.
Yes.
And you missed your son's birthday. You horrible mother. Can you imagine?
Oh, okay. I don't think he's thinking about me that way, but no, that's great.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm joking. You guys
Love
don't
you,
know
Johnny.
Me enough yet. You guys don't know me enough yet.
Tonight. She was clutch tonight. We needed her.
No, I'm just teasing. Okay, girls. Well, that's. I guess that's about it. I know I had another question to ask. But
that's
I don't
okay.
remember. You guys are done. You want to get out of here. Enough of that, eh?
Yes.
I know, eh? Oh, great game. You're a horrible mom.
Thank you.
That's the Newfoundland here. Thank you. I love it. I guess that's it. We'll wrap it up from here. Thanks very much for joining us tonight, guys. Great job again. And glad to see you guys are having some fun with it. Great work on the floor, and good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, cool. Thanks. So that's going to do it here from the Glacier Arena on, I think it's Thursday, June the 6th. And we'll be back tomorrow morning for some playoff round action. And there'll be playoffs on the go all day here tomorrow for the women's division. And there'll be the final round robin games for some Pool B. So tune in. Things are just starting to ramp up. And we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. So on behalf of myself, Trevor Murphy, the incomparable Teddy O'Rourke, thank you very much for tuning in tonight, and we hope that you bring a friend tomorrow. Thanks very much, and have a good night.